What's up, fam? So, for those of us who are old enough to remember, about 25 years ago, there was a tape that was out of R. Kelly. It was a very explicit tape. Actually, I think there was two tapes. One involved a grown woman, the other involved a minor. For a long time, nobody knew who the minor was publicly. Matter of fact, when his first trial he had, where he was acquitted because nobody would testify against him, it was believed that she was a 14-year-old girl, but nobody knew who she was. Well, now she has come public and wrote a memoir about her life and the dealings with the whole R. Kelly situation. And what we're going to do, we're going to watch this little news clip, and then I'm going to give my take on it. And I definitely, as always, want to hear what you got to say too in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. When you do subscribe, hit the notification bell so every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. Let's hit it.
Notorious singer R. Kelly was convicted of racketeering and sex crimes in two separate federal trials in 2021 and 2022.
Hold on. Why is that dude head so perfect, but yet don't look right? Like he got a tall forehead, like his hair does not match his head. That's a perfect cut, or he got like a toupee or something. But anyway, back to the story.
But his legal trouble started many years before that. In 2001, there was a sex tape that was leaked showing a 14-year-old girl. That girl was Rashona Landfair. She was known as Jane Doe during one of Kelly's trials.
I remember R. Kelly said that could have been his brother because they look so much alike. Well, R. Kelly was diabolical. Anyway.
Now, 41, Landfair spoke with Jerika Duncan in her first television interview about her new book called Who's Watching Shorty?
How does it feel to not be Jane Doe anymore?
It feels very rewarding. It feels very liberating. I really wanted to live in my true skin, in my true self.
And your true self today is what?
My true self today is Rashona Landfair.
Rashona Landfair had dreams of becoming a star. In the 90s, she was a child rapper
with this world that we live in,
who came from a musical family in Chicago. Her aunt, R&B singer Sparkle, worked with hitmaker R. Kelly and wanted him to meet her talented niece.
You say your aunt told you the next time we're at the studio, you should ask Robert to be your godfather. Aunt Sparkle explained that I should sit on his lap and rub his head while I asked him to be my godfather.
That is the start of him entering into my life in a different way than just being an artist or hanging out at the studio. It became more personable at that moment.
So it looked like she was, she has a young looking face as it is, being 41. With those rap, that song she was doing as a kid, she looked very young. Like maybe like before she even old enough to even, younger than 14 is what she looked like. Anyway.
Kelly agreed to be her godfather, but soon after, when she was around 13, Landfair says he began grooming her and touching her inappropriately. At one point, her Aunt Sparkle suspected something wasn't right and called social services.
Here is my take on this. Maybe, I don't even want to say controversial, but hear me out. So we talking about R. Kelly in his prime. You probably got women sending him panties to prison right now as we speak on a daily basis. So you know why he was out in the free world still messing with these little girls. He had grown women throwing themselves at him all the time. I guarantee it. I'm quite sure, I'm willing to believe, willing to bet that Sparkle was probably one of them women that he probably hooked up with. I'm just thinking. I know she was married, but it is what it is. Maybe her career wasn't going where she wanted to go. And so she had a little niece who was rapping, who wanted to come up. So she was like, hey, I'm going to let you meet R. Kelly. Maybe he can help enhance your career. But to have a 12-year-old child go sit in a grown man's lap, and I'm sitting here thinking, my own kids at 12 years old wouldn't be sitting in my lap at all. They couldn't even go see the Santa Claus in the mall at that age. A 12-year-old girl go sit in the man's lap, and she said her aunt told her like rub his head and ask him to be her godfather. Show signs of grooming. Show signs of she's trying to use this little girl to enhance her career. Maybe even make R. Kelly happy. Because I'm quite sure she probably knew, because ain't this after him and Aaliyah had a little marriage and annulment? I'm just saying. So she probably knew that this dude like little girls. So you use your family member to try to enhance your career by any means necessary. But what I'm thinking is maybe by the time Sparkle and R. Kelly probably had a falling out, Sparkle's career wasn't going to where she wanted to go. Maybe their relationship didn't go the way she thought it would go. Now she wants to sit here and call social services to have R. Kelly investigated for messing with her niece. See, people can be diabolical. Don't think it can't happen, because it has happened many times on just normal people, civilian level, not even superstar level. It happens all the time. Shoot. Well, this is no different than, you know what I'm saying, dope boy trying to date a young girl and mama cool with it. Hell, mama wants some money. And dope boy paying mama bills. You know what I'm saying? It's no different. What makes you this is no different than this. But then once things go left or the way they don't like it, they be the first one to call the police. Say this grown man is messing with my daughter. You understand what I'm saying?
Why don't you think anyone believed your Aunt Sparkle when she first raised a red flag about a possible inappropriate relationship?
I tell you why. Because of what I just told you. Because everybody knew that she was her and R. Kelly probably had something going on, but then when she got upset, relationship went sour. Now she want to say something, and it's like, no, you the reason why it happened in the first place. That he even know this girl, so that's probably why they didn't believe it. But let's see what Miss Rashonda got to say. Rashonda got to say.
I don't think they believed her because there were no obvious signs of what was actually taking place.
You say it was a couple of weeks before your 17th birthday. You say, Robert told me the copies of one of the sex tapes of 14-year-old me were beginning to be sold on the streets of Chicago and across the country.
I was empty. I was very hollow inside. I was very confused.
According to Landfair, after the 2001 leaked tape, Kelly told her parents that he was in love with their daughter.
It was very complicated. My dad wanted to make the right decision, and he was not okay with anything that took place. I was more under Robert's brainwash.
Now, what does that mean as a dad? He wanted to make the right decision. Makes me wonder, hell, was he even part of it too? Or when he found out about it, why wasn't he there? Remember like them two girls that was at that hotel living with R. Kelly when he got arrested? When things were going down, I think their dad came up there trying to get at him, and he couldn't, you know what I'm saying, and he couldn't get at him. Why wasn't her dad doing the same thing? I mean, I don't know, but I mean, the way she's talking, I don't think he did.
He utilized me against my parents, making threats of suicide and doing different things out of desperation to convince them to not turn on him.
In 2008, roughly 6 years after being charged with child pornography, Kelly was acquitted. Landfair would later say she lied to a grand jury when she testified that the young girl on the sex tape was not her.
Why not tell the truth when there was finally a trial after 6 years?
That's one of my biggest regrets, not telling the truth.
She didn't say why, but I'm going to tell you why here shortly.
But the 2019 Lifetime docuseries, Surviving R. Kelly, changed everything.
The spirit of conviction came over me during that moment.
Because of that docuseries?
Yes. Somehow I felt responsible that he was able to hurt so many more people.
You was too young talking about you was responsible. You was still a baby.
During
Your
the time
parents are responsible for him being able to do that to other people.
I thought maybe these were just sexual fetishes that he had with me. Maybe this was just abuse I was going through. But when I saw that he was allowed to hurt so many people because I lied, that did not sit well with me as an adult, as a woman.
In 2022, R. Kelly stood trial in Chicago for sex crimes. Landfair testified. Kelly was found guilty. In her memoir, Landfair writes directly to survivors and reminds herself that she deserves grace.
Embrace this next chapter in your journey with anticipation that God will plant new dreams in the fertile soil of your heart. Love you times infinity, Roshona.
How proud are you of yourself?
I'm very proud of myself. I've come a long way, a lot of cold nights, but I'm here.
And what she said there at the end is, but I am here today. And that is really at the core of her book. She's now a mother of a 5-year-old son. We did reach out to her aunt Sparkle, who said she is relieved that Roshona is in her healing journey. Sparkle also said this: any suggestion that I groomed, facilitated, or enabled harm to my niece is untrue and deeply painful.
You introduced her to R. Kelly. That was enough.
As for R. Kelly, who is currently serving sentences for 2 federal convictions, an attorney representing him told us they could not comment on specific allegations in the book without reading it. The attorney added that Kelly wishes Roshona success and peace at all levels. Very, very complicated story, but someone that we've been trying to talk to for so long. And she has said, now is the time where she's ready to tell her
and
story.
when you drill down on it, it really isn't so complicated when you hear what Roshona has to say. I hope she really is giving herself some grace. Imagine the pressure she must have felt back then and thinking, I'm the only one. And R. Kelly is who he was at the time. He's late 50s, still in prison. How much longer does he have, Joy?
Well, he has the 2 convictions, one 30, the other one 20 in Chicago. But I have to say, a lot of this goes down to a lot of power, fear, and shame as to how so many people stayed silent for so long.
Yeah, I'm glad she's speaking up and giving herself grace.
No doubt.
Bravo to her.
Thank you.
You read that interview with R. Kelly and Gayle King, but that was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. When the guys were doing all that hollering, gyrating, talking about I wouldn't do things like I wouldn't do this, and you trying to ruin my life. Man, please, whatever. But back to the question at hand. When she said, why not tell the truth when the trial came out? It's because her parents got paid by R. Kelly. Now, I don't know why she didn't ask her that question, bring that up, because that's probably the most important part. It's funny how I understand she's 14. She had nothing to do with what her parents did because she was a minor. But the facts still remain. Your parents got paid by R. Kelly. Matter of fact, pull up a few notes here. Let y'all hear it for yourself. It says, according to court testimony from R. Kelly's 2022 federal trial and related reporting, there were payments associated with Roshona Landfair, the woman who testified as Jane Doe, and her parents that prosecutors described as part of efforts to keep her from testifying in the earlier 2008 case. Now, y'all remember, there were more tapes that came out. Remember, they found these tapes on his boat in Miami, somewhere in Florida. The police went on his boat looking for him, found tapes, and they confiscated them. And they said these tapes are going to put this man under the jail for the rest of his life because there was a lot of explicit tapes with young females. But it got thrown out because they got the tapes without a warrant. So let's not forget that too. So this man probably thought he was above the law after that. It said these weren't necessarily direct payments from R. Kelly's personal account to buy silence, but they were financial benefits tied to Kelly's companies and influence that federal prosecutors argue had the effect of keeping Landfair and her family from cooperating with authorities for many years. Here's what reporting and court records have said. Alleged payments to her family and her. An IRS agent testified during the trial that Kelly-related companies made more than $79,000 in payments to Landfair's parents between 2006 and 2012. Some payments were also made to Rashona herself, with some labeled settlement. Prosecutors have alleged that these payments, plus other benefits like trips funded by Kelly and financial support, helped keep her and her parents from testifying against him in the 2008 child, case, which ended in his acquittal. Why? Because you can't find somebody guilty on hearsay. You got to have concrete evidence when you go on the trial. When you go into criminal trials. Prosecutors described these payments as part of a broader effort to influence testimony, effectively discouraging her from cooperating with law enforcement or testifying truthfully for many years after the tape emerged. It's not that there's a publicly known simple hush money check directly from Kelly personally to keep them silent, but the recorded payments from his companies and the financial support tied to him served a similar purpose of discouraging cooperation with prosecutors or media scrutiny for a long period of time. They say, in Rashona's own words, more recent interviews in her memoirs focus on her experience of abuse, grooming, and manipulation, and she has expressed how complicated and controlled her relationship with Kelly was, including how her family was influenced, but she emphasized the long emotional and psychological impact rather than strictly the financial elements. So that's the issue. That's the question. Like I said, that's what was missing in this little interview. I wonder if she talks about it in the book. I get it. She was a child when everything happened. I'm sure she went through a lifetime of just emotional issues. Probably needed to get some help. See a psychiatrist. That'd probably be the best thing for her at the time, and maybe even still now. Because I'm just sitting here thinking, when I saw the picture when they showed her, that first picture they showed her as a kid, I mean, my heart dropped just looking at it because I'm sitting here thinking, that little kid, that dude did the unimaginable to a child. Now, if it was a grown woman and that's what you're into, it is what it is. But to do it to a child, and you could try to say that the child was fascinated. Man, look at her. Everybody, once them hormones kick in, I don't give a damn how old you are. Once the hormones kick in, you're gonna have some type of feelings as children. But being grown and taking advantage of a child, because up here she ain't all there. Up here she's trying to do everything right to probably please her aunt, to please R. Kelly, to get her career off the ground. She's probably doing this thinking that that's how that's going to work. But unfortunately, that's how the entertainment business is, from what I've seen. I know my dad, back in the day, probably started in second, third grade. I used to write songs all the time. Junior high, I started writing raps. High school, started making beats and instrumentals and stuff. Thought, I was like close to like actually cracking into business, but it never manifested. Well, my pop said years ago, he said, man, I'm glad that, I forgot what he was talking about, but it's like out the blue, years after high school and stuff. He was saying, man, I'm glad that you didn't get into that business because it's dirty, it's cutthroat, it's just demonic. You know what I'm saying? I'm just glad you didn't get into that because ain't no telling what would have happened. And you know what I'm saying? When he said it, first I looked at him like, what? So I kind of said like, man, you know what I'm saying? You didn't want me to, live out my dream. But then when he said the rest of that, I said, you know what? Being a grown man listening to that, I said, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Heck, if I can find ways to get money, get rich, and not have to be in that kind of world, where this type of thing is a lot of time encouraged, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be stopping anytime soon, I don't need it. I really don't. But anyway, tell me what you think about this story. Leave your comments below. Share it with the world. Let's have an intelligent conversation. You know how we do around here. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Those 4 things cost you maybe a couple of minutes out of your day, but it means the world to us here at this channel. And with that being said, live in peace and love, and I'll see you on the other side.